the terrain of filmmaking has changed exponentially, like everything, like with technology. So what was pertinent last year is not pertinent this year. So release dates are a real dog. So we had a release date which was projected a couple of years from when you start the movie. So they go, right, here's a check, make the movie. You're coming out in, we were supposed to come out exactly a year ago. But then what happens is if you're not a branded movie, you get elbowed off that date. You know, Star Wars or something will come along, and then you're not going to compete with Star Wars. So you've got to move because you can't compete. So you've got a very crowded market with lots of brands. Now, this isn't something that we used to suffer because everyone was equal going into the equation. You give yourself the advantage of having a movie star or something, but that doesn't exist anymore. What exists now is the brand, is the big brother. So he comes muscling in, bullies his way into a weekend. And that's why you can't really get new films breaking through because those weekends are already occupied. So trying to break through is a real struggle. We had to wait a year for a date. And the date that we're coming out on is one weekend after Guardians. Now, Guardians will be a vast hit. And it's very dangerous being within the parameters of a big movie. Yeah, and it's becoming more polarized. So it means more now. So your opening weekend, everything's about, they know what you're going to make by Thursday evening.
Right.
You're supposed to be coming out on Friday and everyone knows what you're going to make by Sunday night on a Thursday evening. There's enough clever people out there tapping into clever little boxes and computer says, da-da-da-da-da. And they're seldom wrong. Now, that never used to be the case. You used to come out and the films would get discovered. You used to have a little platform. You start small, go big, that sort of nonsense. Now you just got to come out ball swinging.
And if you don't come out ball swinging, people get very upset and they think that this is a failure. It hasn't lived up to expectations. Even if it's a creative success, nobody likes it.
It's, well, there's a bit of that. There is an acceptance that if a movie's good, and movies find their own way, usually in the end anyway. But the financial aspect has become polarized. It's too significant of a component in the equation because it's an art form, right? In the end of the day, it's entertainment and an art form, and somehow you want to unify, reconcile that. So, because they're essentially different, reconcile those, put it in a nice little package. So you put in a pill with a sweet wrapper around it, and then you've got both. And then you should be happy. You should have the substance and you should have the flavor. But now the focus is all on the flavor and not on the substance. And that's result orientated. So your movie comes out and they go, what'd it make?
Right.
It's like, slow down, son. What's the movie like? The question, first of all, should be what's the movie like rather than what did it make? And it's become too competitive and too comparative financially. And I love a dollar bill and I like things that are successful. But it has to be secondary to what's primary. And primary is what's it like creatively. So I don't mind the financial aspect of it. I don't mind films having to compete. What I'm after is a reconciliation. And as I say, the primary component should be on the quality of the work. That should be what's primary. But I don't begrudge films being successful. I like them to be successful. I like the competitive element. But sometimes when you're talking with executives, you realize, mate, your priorities are on the wrong thing here. In the end, it is a creative medium, and that is what has to be primary.